Hello, everyone. Welcome to Life Wisdom, a place where we share stories, lessons, and perspectives to help you live a calmer, more meaningful life. Let's take a moment to reflect and enjoy today's message together. How to overcome loneliness. In life, all of us, sooner or later, will face moments of loneliness. It might come when we move away from our families, when a relationship ends, when our work feels uncertain, or simply when we feel like we don't truly belong anywhere. Loneliness can arrive as softly as a breeze, but sometimes it weighs on us so heavily that it feels almost suffocating. Many people fear loneliness and do their best to run away from it. They bury themselves in work, in endless entertainment, in the noise of social media, all in an attempt to cover up the emptiness inside. But the more they run, the more they realize loneliness is still there, waiting quietly in the background, ready to resurface the moment they pause. The truth is, loneliness is not always an enemy. Sometimes it can be a teacher. It reminds us that there are places deep in our hearts that have not been heard or healed. It gives us the chance to stop, to turn inward, to listen, and to learn to love ourselves more deeply. 1. Understanding loneliness. Loneliness is not just about being physically alone. You can stand in the middle of a crowded street, surrounded by noise, or scroll through hundreds of so-called friends online and still feel empty. Because loneliness is not about numbers, it is about connection. It's the absence of feeling connected to others, and just as often, the absence of feeling connected to ourselves. The first step to overcoming loneliness is to understand that this feeling is not unique to you. Everyone has walked through it at some point. It does not make you strange, broken, or unworthy. It simply makes you human, with a heart that longs to be seen, heard, and loved. 2. Learning to be alone without feeling empty. There is a big difference between being alone and being lonely. Being alone is an external situation. Loneliness is an internal emotion. You can choose to be alone and still feel peaceful, happy, and whole. Try spending time alone in ways that nourish you instead of drain you. Read a book you've always wanted to explore. Brew a cup of tea and enjoy it slowly with your favorite music in the background. Take a walk in the park and breathe in the fresh air. When you treat solitude as an opportunity for enjoyment, loneliness begins to fade. Being alone also helps you understand yourself more clearly. You start to notice what you truly enjoy, what you dislike, and what you genuinely need. When you learn how to befriend yourself, silence and solitude no longer feel like threats, they become safe spaces. 3. Reconnecting with others. Loneliness often grows when we close ourselves off. Fear of rejection, fear of being hurt again, fear of being misunderstood. These fears make us build invisible walls. But to overcome loneliness, we need to open a door, even if it's just a small crack. You don't need dozens of friendships or constant social activity. What matters more are a few genuine, meaningful connections. Maybe it's an old friend you haven't spoken to in years. Maybe it's a colleague you've only ever talked to about work. Maybe it's a stranger in a community or group that shares your interests. Don't be afraid to be the one who reaches out first. A simple message, "How have you been?" might rekindle a forgotten friendship. A kind greeting might be the start of a new bond. When you take the initiative, you begin to realize you are not as alone as you once believed. 4. Building meaningful habits. One of the most effective ways to dissolve loneliness is to create habits that give your life meaning. When your mind and heart are engaged with something positive, there is less space for emptiness to creep in. You might learn a new skill, start a hobby, practice a sport, or volunteer your time for a cause you believe in. When you dedicate yourself to something larger than yourself, you begin to feel a sense of value. And when you feel your own value, loneliness loses its grip. Think of a person who volunteers at an animal shelter every weekend. They may arrive feeling tired, but when they leave, they are uplifted by wagging tails and grateful eyes. That sense of contribution, of being needed, fills a space inside that no scrolling or shallow distraction ever could. Number 5, caring for your body and soul. The mind and body are deeply connected. Taking care of one naturally helps heal the other. Make sure you sleep enough, eat nourishing foods, and move your body regularly. Don't underestimate the power of exercise. It releases endorphins, the happiness hormones, which naturally reduce anxiety and feelings of loneliness. Beyond the body, care for your inner world. Try meditation or journaling. Writing down your emotions can be surprisingly freeing. It allows you to pour out what weighs on you and see yourself more clearly. Meditation, even just a few minutes of mindful breathing, brings calm and reconnects you with your inner self. These small practices, done consistently, build resilience against loneliness. Number 6, accepting and appreciating moments of loneliness. Sometimes the goal isn't to eliminate loneliness entirely, but to learn how to live with it more gently. Instead of asking, "How do I never feel lonely again?" try asking, "What can I learn from this loneliness?" Maybe it's teaching you to cherish the people you have around you more deeply. Maybe it's reminding you to return to yourself with kindness and care. When you accept loneliness as part of the human experience, it loses much of its power. It becomes just one shade in the many colors of life. Not something to fear, but something that can even add depth to your story. 7. Faith and hope. One of the heaviest parts of loneliness is the fear that it will last forever. But the truth is, nothing does. No sadness is eternal. No silence lasts unbroken. Hold on to the belief that even if today feels empty, there will be new connections and new joys tomorrow. Just as the sky sometimes fills with dark clouds, the sun still rises again. Hope is the lamp that lights our darkest nights. As long as you keep that light alive, even as a small flicker, you will always find your way forward. Closing reflections. Loneliness is not the end of the road. It is a reminder to pause, to return to yourself, to listen more deeply, and to open your heart again to the world. When loneliness visits, don't treat it as a failure. See it as an opportunity to learn to love yourself better, to seek out meaningful connections, to live more fully and more present in each moment. Remember this: you are not alone in this journey. Everyone has felt lonely, and everyone can move through it. Sometimes it takes just one small step, a new habit, a kind message, a shared smile, and slowly the shadows begin to lift. And if you are listening to these words right now, know this: you already have the strength within you to overcome loneliness. Simply by being here, reflecting, and opening your heart to change, you have begun the journey. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to share in the comments a time you overcame loneliness and what helped you most. Your story may be the encouragement someone else needs. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue exploring more stories, lessons, and reflections that bring peace and meaning to our lives. Thank you for spending this time with me, and may you always find moments of calm, of connection, and of deep peace within your own heart. Thank you for listening. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share to spread positivity. See you in the next video on Life Wisdom.